Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Xenon ZT back at it again with a brand new What If. What if Deku was abandoned? Stay tuned to the end of the video and we will discuss what's going on with the channel, why it took such a long time to make another video, if you want that. So let's jump into it. Our story begins with a boy named Izuku Midoriya. Born to Hisashi and Inko Midoriya, he was a gentle boy, a lovable kid with a smile that melts your heart. But fate has mysterious ways of playing people. So, without further ado, let's jump into our story. Our story begins with the birth of Deku, Izuku Midoriya, as we know him, to Inko and Hisashi Midoriya. A bright boy who was destined for greatness, but it comes at a cost. A cost we will know real soon. His parents, Hisashi, especially Hisashi, was a hard father on Deku. He believed in power and fame that comes from the hero business. He known that if his son became one of the greatest heroes that ever known, he will get the fame and the money and everything he wants. So he played with Deku. He molded him from young age to be this heroic person, to gain the fame and everything that comes with it, the prosperity and everything. We jump into the other side with Inko. Inko was mesmerized, was taken by the charisma displayed by Hisashi Midoriya, which made her fell deeply in love and follow each of his command, like she was brainwashed, like she was in a deep trance. Then their offspring came, and it was Deku Midoriya, Izuku. Born for the first 2 years of his life, he only known hardships and neglect from his parents. His father always telling him, you need to do this, you need to do that, and belittlement from him for his failures. Each time Deku fails, his father scolds him, makes fun of that kid, makes him feel like nothing, even though 2 years old is a young age to be judging a kid. And that continued to the age of 4. Deku was ecstatic. This is the age where he developed a quirk and be just like his idol. Only, he thought. Every kid in the kindergarten started showing signs of having a quirk. Bakugou with his explosion quirk, popping and impressing everyone, even Deku's father when he met him. Everyone. Bakugou's friends, one got wings, one got rock quirk, but Deku waited patiently, and he waited more and more and more until his father and mother had enough of the wait, and they went and took Deku to the quirk doctor, where they were noticed and told the hard truth. Izuku Midoriya, you won't be developing a quirk. You have a 3 joint on your finger, so you won't be having a quirk anytime. Deku's heart sank down to his stomach. His dreams and hopes almost crushed. But the disturbing fact was Hisashi's reaction. Even the doctor noticed that. Hisashi screamed out his lungs, "Fuck!" and he stormed out of the room. Deku tried to hold his mother's hand while going to the car, but she took her hand out, like, stay away from me. They went into the car, and the whole way home they argued, and Deku got home, entered his room, shut it, and stayed in a dark corner, curled up, crying about his biggest failure, even though he was not responsible for it. Hisashi and Inko kept arguing until the morning. So that continued, and the boy cried till he sleeps, consumed by the darkness in the room. The days became numbered, and Deku continued his life, being belittled by his parents, with a harsher treatment now that he is totally useless to them, and Bakugou's bullying at school. It was unbearable. Any child should not have gone through that. Till one fateful night, Deku got home and he found his father drinking beer. He drank excessively this time. Bottles laid everywhere. And Deku's father, the bottle in his hand was pretty much empty, and he asked Deku for another bottle to grab one from the fridge. Deku told his father, "I think that might be enough, Dad." Deku's father retaliated by throwing the bottle, smashing near a wall Deku was standing, cutting his hand deeply. So deeply, the scar will never fade. Then Deku looked to his mother for some comfort, but his mother gave him a cold glare like, "Go treat your wounds and fuck out of here." Deku, disappointed at everything, feeling, "I don't know how to explain it," he said, like a burn inside of him. He went to his room, he grabbed the first aid kit, and he bandaged up his cuts. Deku went to his room, he did that, and he stayed. The next day, he was called by his parents, and he was told to pack up his things. It's time to go somewhere. Deku obliged with him, and he gone with them. The only thing Deku in his mind was the harsh treatment. What did he do in his life to deserve to be treated this way? What did I do wrong? Those are the thoughts that went inside of Deku's mind. He cursed at the inability to get a quirk, to the weakness that he is. And then we hear the screeching sound of the car braking, and Izuku's father told him, "Get out." They were at the end of the city by now, in front of a huge building. Told him, "Take your things." And the last thing Deku's father said is, "We don't want a weakling as our offspring," as he hit the gas and the car moved. Deku, with eyes full of tears and heart broken, looked at the car as it continued its way. Then two men came out to Deku's, and they touched his shoulder and told him, "Come on, let's go inside. Another broken toy thrown to us to take care of." Parents. So Deku, thinking that maybe this will be a new start, was really wrong about it. The treatment was as harsh as it was, but on the bright side, they let him go to his usual public school. So Bakugo still being an asshole to him. So the story continues, and everything goes as usual. Deku getting bullied at school, then coming back to the system of the weak, of the strong eating the weak in the orphanage. But Deku always, in the first month, didn't do anything but blame himself. Then that blame turned into determination. And that determination was to show everyone that he is not a weakling, that even without a quirk, he will become the pinnacle of the human race, that he will crush everything beneath his boot heel, that a quirk is nothing compared to him. So Deku, after 6 months, picked himself up and started training like crazy. Trained until his hands bled, trained until his head almost exploded, his body broken, his body torn, his mental psyche drained. It went like that till the age of 13. In the meantime, he did gather money to get out of the orphanage as a way out. He gathered enough money by doing hard labor in jobs that are pretty weird, like convenience stores, everything. He did it at such a young age, and he gathered enough money to rent the smallest apartment in the city. It was one bathroom, a kitchen, and one chamber, but to him it was heaven, an escape from the bullying, an escape from his parents, an escape from the orphanage and the weird staff and the harsh treatment of the world. It was his own small paradise. But as we know, that is not the end. Deku's mentality kept on sinking away. Why am I not getting strong even though I'm pushing myself to the limits? Why am I not growing anymore? Why? And one day, while he was at the woods training, Deku was hit by the sad memory of his parents telling him he was nothing, he is worthless, and rage, darkness built up inside him as his body grew a bit more buff and more muscular, as his rage continued more and more until he punched the tree, splitting it in two. Then Deku looked at himself and he stumbled backwards, falling on his butt. What was that? What did I do? How? I'm quirkless. But this feeling, this power coursing through my veins, as fast as it came, it's leaving my body. Why? What did I do? Then it clicked inside his mind. The rage state he entered was it. So Deku continued training more and more, strengthening his base form, his body. Just a moment, let me explain. This ability is just almost as Ki or Escanor's ability, or the Hulk's. So he is super powered. When he enters his rage state, his power increases immensely, but that does not mean that his normal body power won't grow. It will grow. Actually, it will grow immensely, but with a rage booster, it will grow huge amounts. So this is a little exposition dump. So yeah, we continue. After that, Deku, after training more and more, went home. He laid on his bed looking at the ceiling and looking at his arm that caused all that damage. Finally, some results at long last, and his vision became blurry as he looked at his arms. Then he stood up. Tears were running down his face, and he started touching his face, wiping the tears away. Like, God damn it, stop crying. Why are you crying now? Stop. And Deku cried himself to sleep. No, stop crying, he said, and he screamed. I'm not weak. I'm not weak. Nobody can tell me that. So we continue with Deku falling asleep after that happened. The next few days went as usual. Deku going to school, then going to work, then training. But we can see that Bakugou's bullying continues, and Deku's patience with him is running real thin. So one day, Bakugou jumped on Deku, trying to beat him up because Deku was writing some notes for himself. He's a bit rusty at doing it, but because he was at age 6 to the age of 13, he did not write anything because he was pretty disheartened by his weakness. And now that he gained some power, he feels the passion that goes through him, that passion to become powerful. So Deku went to the school and Bakugou jumped him. He was beating the hell out of Deku, and Deku's mind started going to that dark place. It started going more and more into that dark place, and Deku was almost knocked out, nose bleeding, his skin tattered, his clothes tattered and stuff. Then Deku went to the dark place inside his mind, and the only thing he can remember: "You won't amount to anything," Bakugou said. Then his father: "You are a disappointment." And his mother: "I don't want a child like you." And rage built up. Anger continued to rise as Deku's temper was lost. He became a beast. He grabbed Bakugou by the neck while he was down, and he pulled him towards him, headbutting him, breaking Bakugou's nose, then throwing him off him. Deku got up a bit, swole a bit bigger. Then he looked at Bakugou. "Who gives you the right to say I'm weak? Who made you think that you are special? You will pay for all these years of non-stop bullying." Bakugou was thrilled about it, and he looked at Deku. "Finally, you get some fight in you." And Bakugou shot an explosion as Deku ran through it unfazed, and he grabbed Bakugou by the collar and he threw him down to the ground. As Deku was about to deliver the finishing blow, Bakugou felt scared because he knows this is the end. Deku was stopped by the kids around and the staff of the school. Deku was taken to the principal's office, and some kids around saw what happened, so Bakugou was taken also. But Bakugou was special. Bakugou was not treated as everyone. He was their ticket to get in their name into UA. So Bakugou was let off loose. A slap on the wrist, a week of suspension, even though the kids stood by Deku's side, because at that point they saw the ability to fight. Even if you're weak, you can fight Bakugou and win. The kids tried to vouch for Deku, but Deku was expelled for 2 weeks. He was on hold for 2 weeks. Deku, thinking that showing a bit of power, everyone turns around to you and they start cheering for you. He spat on the ground. Bunch of shit. He wiped the blood off his nose and he walked off, looking at the principal. I guess he's your prized boy, huh? We'll see about that. Deku got out of the principal office and slammed it shut as Bakugou giggled to himself. "Damn, Deku, you will never amount to anything in this life." As Deku went home, he lay down, slept a bit, then he woke up around 6. It's time to do his job. Deku went to his workplace. He worked. He talked a bit to his co-workers. As he went home, he changed to his sports clothes and he went to the woods to train a bit more. After that, Deku went back home and he chilled a bit, cooked himself a good dinner, some steak, some green onions, some everything. He cooked himself because this day marks a new day for Deku. The day he will grow stronger and show everyone what he's capable of. He would leave their jaws dropped as Deku finished, washed the dishes, and went to sleep. He was hit by a nightmare about everything that went before, with his parents telling him that he is worth nothing. We stop here for now. Thank you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. Now to the real stuff. Disclaimer first. The music I'm about to use in this video, it's not for monetization or any of that kind of stuff. This channel is not monetized. I don't get any money. I do it for pleasure, so please don't strike that video. Okay? Thank you. According to YouTube guideline and the video description of the music video, I'm using it in non-profit way. So thank you for that. And now let's talk. I've been out of YouTube for about a month. I can give you a lame excuse, or I can make more videos for the time being, but you need an explanation. And here it is. I actually didn't feel like making videos. I was out of ideas. And the idea for this video, as you can hear, paper. I wrote 4 papers, a script for this one episode. This is how much I'm passionate about it right now. So let's hope that passion continues, and I hope you enjoy the content I'm pumping out now. This will be a new direction for the channel. As you can see, I made a better thumbnail for the video and stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. It's been your boy ZenoZT.